Some people, well, I guess ain't nobody home. Well, if they have the determination just to keep on knocking, it's a funny thing about life. If you're home one day and someone is knocking on the door, and you say, I don't want to be bothered today. Say, what is it? What do you want? And that's how you've got to be about your dream. Keep on knocking.
Everything you did today, you're going to do today, was going to have a purpose behind it. It was going to matter.
What's up, Internet? My name is Ryan, and I'm going to tell you a story about my MR340 journey this year. So I found out about the race through the Missouri Conservationist magazine. It was just a free article that popped up at my door, and I thought, wow, that's an amazing adventure. I got to be a part of it. I started searching like local internet and Facebook forums for people in the area that actually paddled as well. And I found a couple of guys that were a lot older than me, and I thought, oh good, that'll be good for my confidence because I'll be able to like out paddle them. Probably within the first like 30 minutes they were past the horizon line. I couldn't even see them anymore. That's when I started to realize I was probably in over my head. But I thought that'd still be a fun adventure. Just go at it anyway. And the first part of it is still fun. Like you show up to Kansas City and it's just full of boats. There's just boats and people that like boats everywhere. There's just paddling people. There's like 400 just paddlers, plus all their ground crew, plus their family. And then whenever the race actually starts, it's still really fun. Like you're surrounded by people that are paddling, and it's just a fun experience. But then like 2 hours goes by, and you realize it's just the only way to keep going is just to like paddle. That's it. Like you just have to keep. I mean, a lot to comprehend if you've never done it before. So the first time, I mean, absolute fail. I got to Lexington and then sat on the shore. I was still smoking at the time, so I was like sitting there smoking a cigarette, and I just kept thinking in my head like I'm off all week, right? So then like I'm like, okay, yeah, I've wasted today, but I could still go home, watch Netflix, lay on the couch, maybe go to a movie later in the week, like hang out with Blair. I mean, it's just all these like tempting ideas of what you could do with the time besides sitting in that boat where you have to pee in a bottle and just, you know, sit there and suffer for hours. It's just, it's so appealing originally. And I went for it. And I decided to put a post on Facebook saying, hey guys, thanks for all your support. I really thought I wanted this. Turns out it's pretty awful. I'm good. I pulled out at the first checkpoint, which was 52 miles down the river. And overall, people were pretty like, oh yeah, wow, that's more than I've ever paddled my whole life. Good day, blah, blah, blah. Until my dad posted on there, and he said, 50, he put on there, it said, 50 miles, ... that's it. Whew, whew, whew. Needless to say, I was pretty fired up over that little comment. So fired up, as a matter of fact, I didn't speak to him for 3 weeks. Me and my dad would go on float trips when I was a kid, and it was just simple float trips. I was just so pissed because I knew, number one, he had no idea what he was talking about because he'd never he had never paddled on the Missouri River, period. And he definitely never paddled 50 miles in one day. So, you know, in my head, I'm like, bitch, you... But, that being said, if he did not say that, I would have just left the 340 alone as something that like, oh yeah, I tried that once, it was pretty fun, but not for me. But because he said that, I did decide like, okay, well, I'm actually gonna finish this thing. And I really always regretted that because from the time he said that, there was a 3-week period where I just didn't talk to him. And then 2 months after the time he said that, he died. So really, I missed out on like half of the amount of time that I could have spent or talked to him on the phone or whatever. So for me, like that's always been a real big motivating piece to do the MR340. And it started off with just the motivation of I want to finish this race. That's it. I just want to finish. So then that following year, I was, obviously super motivated. I knew a little bit more about what to expect. More importantly, I did some other paddle races. So when the race was over, I was just super excited. I didn't know what the next step was, if I was ever going to do it again or what. But there's that sense of accomplishment that once all the pain goes, then you start romanticizing the race in your head to where, oh man, this was such an adventure. That's by far the coolest thing that I've ever physically accomplished in my life, was paddling from one side of Missouri to the other side of Missouri. Like, this is just so insane to really put it in, to wrap your mind around the fact that you did that, because you never really feel like you as an individual can do such a big task. So by the time the third year rolls around, I'm a paddler at this point. I know what I'm doing. Third year goes, and I just did really well. I didn't even know that I had no intention of really doing well. I just started paddling, and then by the first checkpoint I was in the top 50, and we're like, what? That's crazy. That's crazy. Then the wheels start turning, and you're like, wait a minute, I spent 11 hours on land between 2 checkpoints. So that means if I can just get past those 2 checkpoints then without stopping, and don't you waste that 11 hours, boom, same pace, I'm in the 50-hour club. And that's what the 4th year was supposed to be about, was really conditioning for not stopping and getting into the 50-hour club. That was it. That is all I care about now, is just getting into the 50-hour club. To get inside that 50-hour club, man, there's only been really only 40 paddlers or something like that, and half of them happened in flood year. The flood year, whenever it was just crazy, which is fine. Props to them. If it ever gets that high again, I will be in that race. I don't even care if there's a spot, I'll just do it. So finishing the race in 50 hours was the ultimate end-all be-all goal. But I actually added in another hobby, and it was so fluid for me, because I just like art and I like storytelling, that I didn't even notice that I was doing it, which was I was trying to capture the whole thing in a documentary and share and tell that story. Are you excited about me doing the 340 for the 4th time ever?
So excited. I look like a homeless boy.
Do you think I'll make the 50-hour club?
I'm gonna make the 48-hour club.
That's not a thing.
Just giving you 2 extra hours, Charles.
It's new ground crew. It's also a dude. I don't know if that really played a part in it for me, because I'm used to a girl. I'm used to my girl. I'm used to soft, precious Blair. And now I have big, giant Blake. Now Blake's super nice, super great. He himself was an amazing athlete. So he understands, hey, it's gonna get turned up a little bit whenever we're trying to do really good stuff. To help carry the boat. and make sure I don't die. It's super. Spend the weekend in county for going 110 trying to outrun a semi. There she is. Safety first. Okay, so if you open your door.
She becomes 100 pounds. Chlorine from swimming pools. That's something.
Only have one paddle boat. Stedman Hall is completely offline this year for the renovation, and so I'm going to be teaching in the little theater a lot of the science classes. So the kind of some of the Stedman 200 stuff, because it won't be there. We have to use rooms.
They're redoing Stedman altogether?
The whole thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be nice.
know John McCoy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember the first time, I didn't really know the first time we paddled the MR340 together. He was like naming he can name every tree and plant. I don't know
cool.
why. The guy just like loves knowing all that stuff.
He's a good guy.
11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, well, 3.5 hours in. Obviously, I've had some battery issues. Cameras in today, and 2 of them were dead, so that sucks. The remote doesn't work, but hey, we're still getting footage. We're still paddling down the river. Things are good. Like 5 miles outside of Lexington. I feel good. I really can't tell what position I'm in, if I'm in top like 40 or 20 or what. I got a big group ahead of me. I was in it, and then I took a break, and then I fall out. We keep passing each other, going back and forth. So I'm ready to hit some ramps, thin it out a bit. The wind's kind of annoying, but not bad. Just enough to get my attention. So you just passed Lexington. It's 2 o'clock, 2:05 on Tuesday, so 7 hours in, 50 miles out, 52 miles out, I guess. And then, so feeling good. Probably gonna skip one more ramp, and then stop at Miami, get refueled. Go from there and off into the night with my lights on and cameras ablazing. The night on day 1, I went to have my lights turned on. I asked another paddler to help me turn my lights on. I'm like, I'm tired. So at this point, and I hear him clicking on my GoPro, and I'm like, what? No, that's the light back there. You just twist it. And he's like, there's no light back here. There's no light back here. There's no light back here. So day 1, winding down. I'm about, I have no idea. I'm gonna guess like 15 miles outside of Miami. Overall, feel pretty good. Tired, sore, but I mean, nothing abnormal. I just took some ibuprofen, so my body feels good for as sore as it is. So because I can't get a hold of Blake, I call Blair and I'm like, hey, here's what's going on, blah, blah, blah. I'm about to lose it. So I finally get a hold of Blake and we decide, okay, well, let's have you run off and grab the stuff, grab some kind of a light from Walmart, and then hopefully by the time you're done and the time I get back, I will be ready to go, okay? So anyway, I show up there. Of course, Blake's gone because he's going to get the light. Actually, Blake wakes me up from my nap, and and at this point I'd probably been on shore for like, I don't know, 30 minutes or so. And I told him, look, give me 20 minutes, I'm gonna take a nap, wake me up, and then we'll see what, I'm probably gonna quit. I went from top 30 to like 80 real quick. That's a real tough one to get through, but I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll go to the next ramp, I'll go to Glasgow. This was the first stop, but I'm exhausted, I'm kind of over it, and I don't check everything before I take off because I'm so focused on this light. I'm so focused on this. Time goes by and I need to go to the bathroom, and I reach for my pee bottle, which is directly in front of me. My pee bottle is an empty Gatorade bottle, okay? My new ground crew thought it was trash, and being a good ground crew, threw that trash away. I'm in a kayak, okay, so I don't want to like walk you through the processes of it. My options are pretty limited at this point. Well, these two guys paddle up by me, and I'm paddling with them. And eventually, I mean, it gets so bad where I'm like, hey, so weird request, but can I borrow your pee bottle? Because my ground crew threw mine away. I don't have a way to pee unless I just pee on myself. So that was probably the weirdest thing I've had to do ever. You know, asking a full-grown man, hey, sir, can I borrow your pee bottle? And then talk about like being on the spot. He didn't want me paddling off his pee bottle, so he's like sitting right here. He's like sitting like right here while I'm peeing, and it's just a weird thing. It was a weird night. By that point, I was just over it. I can't record any of this. It was weird. 3:07 in the morning. I've decided to drop out because I'm already like basically like 5 hours behind where I was last year. So I'm just burnt out. I don't like mentally care to just to finish because I've already done that. So yeah, that's how the story ends. Made it to what is this place? Well, Dalton Bottoms, and paddled for 120 miles. Just 220 short. So now I have to deal with actually failing. I 100% failed. I didn't make my 50-hour club. I didn't even finish the race. It's finishing the story, and then anytime you quit, you're not giving an ending to that story because you know, so it's leaving something unresolved. It feels like the first time that I finished it at all, where I was like, okay, I didn't prepare for this correctly, and I now know what I can do, and I'm gonna go do all that, and then I'm gonna come back next year and do this. The problem with the goal that I've set now of getting in the 50-hour club, for me to achieve that next year means that am I 300 days away from being able to paddle from Kansas City to St. Louis in under 50 hours? Realistically, no answer, but no. Now, that being said, I don't think in any way, shape, or form that this is my last MR340 race. I think that I will probably take a year off, get everything, but I will take a year off from paddling and probably just film next year and tell everyone else's story next year. But I don't have any intention of, just letting that be the final race. I think that that's going to be a really important race for everything that I accomplish later, and it's definitely going to add fuel to the fire. So that's my story of the 2017's MR340. I'm looking forward to being able to tell your story next year.